You know that feeling, right? You make the perfect to-do list, you set up your calendar just so, you try all the productivity hacks, and you still end the day feeling like you got absolutely nothing done. Well, if that frustration sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. So let's get into it.
It's a huge question, isn't it? We're always told that if we just find the right app, or follow a stricter system, or just try harder, we'll finally get a handle on our time. But what if that entire approach is just wrong? And this quote right here, this is the heart of it all. The real secret to productivity, it turns out, has nothing to do with managing the clock on the wall. It has everything to do with understanding the clock inside your own head. Okay, first things first, let's really define the problem. We're going to call it the time management trap. And believe me, once you see how it works, you'll finally understand why so many of your best efforts feel like they're going nowhere. This isn't some new modern problem. This is a deeply human struggle. People have been trying to master their days for literally thousands of years. So if you're finding it hard, you're not a failure. But here's the twist. Our modern obsession with productivity might actually be making everything worse. So here's where things get really interesting and kind of backwards from what we're usually told. The research shows that while all these techniques make us feel more in control, they don't necessarily mean we get more or better work done. In fact, obsessing over efficiency can completely backfire. And the cost? Wow. When we get totally overloaded and fixated on just checking boxes, our brain goes into what's called tunnel vision. And this is so mentally exhausting that it can temporarily drop our effective IQ by up to 13 points. Think about that. That's basically like losing a full night's sleep. We literally make dumber decisions and become less creative. So if the problem isn't the clock, then what is it? Well, this brings us to the most important idea of this whole explainer. The problem isn't out there. It's in here. We have to shift the focus inward. This is the absolute game changer. For so long, we've tried to manage time like it's some external thing, like money in a bank account. But the real breakthrough happens when we stop doing that and we start to understand our internal perception of time. Because it's not one size fits all, it's deeply, deeply personal. So, what in the world is time perception? Well, it's basically how your brain naturally relates to the future and the past. When you think about next year, do you see it in crystal clear detail, or is it more of a fuzzy, abstract idea? This isn't about being good or bad at planning, it's just recognizing how your brain is wired by default. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's figure out what your time perception style is. This is where you might have a real aha moment and see yourself in one of these descriptions. It all breaks down along two simple lines. First, how clearly do you see the future? Is it vague or is it sharp? And second, how many goals are you juggling in that future? Just a few or a whole bunch? Putting those together gives us 4 very distinct types. All right, see if this is you. You see the future in high definition, and it is packed, wall to wall, with goals. You are super productive, always on the move, always hitting targets. The only catch? There's this constant humming anxiety in the background, that nagging feeling that no matter how much you do, you're still somehow falling behind. Or maybe you're more like this. You see the future clearly, but you're laser focused on just 1 or 2 big things. Your superpower is execution. You make a plan, you stick to it. The flip side, though, is that you can become so rigid that you miss out on all the spontaneous, fun stuff happening right now. For this next type, the future isn't a clear picture. It's more like a vague fog. Yeah, there are a few goals out there somewhere, but they just feel so distant, so disconnected from today. And this can make it incredibly hard to get motivated. You feel like you're just going through the motions because the why never feels real. And finally, our 4th type. The future is vague, but it's jam-packed with tons of different goals. Your mind is buzzing with possibilities, but the vision for any single one is hazy. This is what leads to that super frustrating feeling of being busy all the time, running on a treadmill, but never actually making progress on the big things that matter most. Okay, so you've probably seen yourself in one of those descriptions. The big question is, what now? Well, this is the great part. Once you know your type, you can finally stop trying to force a square peg into a round hole and actually pick the right tool for the job. So if you're a drifter or a scattered worker, your main challenge is pretty much the same. You've got to find a way to make the future feel less like a dream and more like a real, concrete place. A simple calendar is your best friend here. It's not just for meetings.
It forces you to take a vague idea like, I'll do it next month, and make it real. I will do this on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And time boxing does the same thing for a single task. It creates a clear starting line and a clear finish line, which gives structure to the shapeless. Now, for all you serious achievers and scattered workers out there, your problem isn't a lack of goals. It's having way too many. Your brain is like a computer with 100 tabs open at once, and all that juggling is what creates that constant low-grade anxiety. So for you, a to-do list is more than a memory aid. It's an external hard drive for your brain. Its real magic is getting all those worries out of your head and onto paper so your brain can finally let go. And the start, stop, continue method is like a power tool for prioritizing. It forces you to make the tough but necessary choices about what's really important. And last but not least, for our super-driven serious achievers and focused drivers, your greatest strength, that intense focus, can also be your biggest weakness. The risk of burnout for you guys is incredibly real. The solution? You have to start treating rest and recovery with the same seriousness as a board meeting. Booking yourself first means you put that vacation or that dinner with your family on the calendar before everything else. Even better, book a non-refundable ticket to really commit. And rewarding yourself after a big push isn't frivolous, it's essential. It teaches your brain that hard work leads to immediate joy and recovery, not just some far-off goal. So, we've looked at the trap, the psychology behind it, and the right tools for your type. It all comes down to one final, really important shift in how you think about all this. And this right here, this is the whole thing. True, sustainable productivity isn't about finding some magical one-size-fits-all system. It's about self-awareness. It's about knowing yourself, understanding how your own mind works, and then choosing the tools that fit you. So the question to leave with is, what's the right technique for you?